Good evening. Good evening. It's 7 p.m. Wednesday. I'm Ali Shamsuddin, and this is Standing for the People. And as I always say, this program is brought to you by the people. I don't want to neglect saying that because I want everyone to know that there are people out here that are concerned about knowing the facts and the truth. As I always say, this is not a gossip show. We don't come on to talk about anybody's personal business, personal lives, unless it has anything to do with how our tax dollars are being spent. This program is designed to help us understand what is we have to do, what is being done to us, and how we can even make our lives better or prevent some of these bad things that has been happening to us. Now, the big uproar now is, this effort, as they say, to roll back the Civil Rights Act and allow states to redraw lines, as they say, that were drawn for racial purposes. But then the logical question is, if you're going to redraw them, you're going to redraw them to do what? What is the reason? If you're not to be trying to observe racial purposes, then why are you redrawing the lines? They seem to be working as it is, so let them stay like they are. Now, we have to understand, we are 200 years behind the white community when it comes to politics, simply because for the first part of our experience here in America, Africans, we were enslaved. We had no rights. We had no rights. So therefore, we couldn't take part in the political system. No part whatsoever. It wasn't until the late 1960s that we were even allowed to vote here in Mississippi. And if you see me, those who are watching on StreamYard on YouTube, seems like every time I get in the studio, for some reason, my Facebook, I'm gonna keep it in front of me this time, my Facebook wants to go out. There are people who watch me on Facebook, Attorney Shamsuddin or Ali Shamsuddin, either one. I'm on Facebook and I'm on StreamYard, YouTube, Standing for the People. When information is important, there's always efforts to prevent it. We have a history of experiencing that. We know that. Whenever something is important, information is important, then the effort is to contain it. Now, with all this redrawing of lines, one thing that we need to know here in Mississippi, because I keep saying we have a unique situation, a very unique situation. We have 31 counties out of the 82 counties here in Mississippi, 31 of them have a Black population in that county of 45% or more. 31 counties, Hinds County being included, 31 counties where the Black population in that county is over 45%. Now we got, and I'm going to name them off because so we'll know this is a fact. This is a fact. You got Claiborne County, 87.5% African American. Jefferson County, 85% African American. Hinds County, 87% African American. Humphreys County, 78.5%. Holmes County, 83.9%. Coahoma County, 76%. Tunica, 77.3%. Quitman County, 73.6%. Leflore County, 73.7%. Washington County, 71.3%. Cherokee County, 70.8%. Baltimore County is in there. I failed to put that percentage down. And then you got counties like Leake, Jasper, Otala, Lowndes, Copiah, Montgomery. All of those counties are over 45% African American. I'm saying that to say that this effort to redraw lines, as they say, to draw out black vote, they're gonna find it kind of difficult. They're gonna find it kind of difficult. And even in those counties where we're not the majority, when we understand our power of the vote, we won't have elected officials in Mississippi demeaning black elected officials or black people in Mississippi as a whole. Tate Reeves, governor, talking about we're gonna get rid of the Benny Thompson because of the terror. Terror? Is he kidding? What does he call him? Terror. But he can say that because he thinks we don't vote. He think we don't vote. I'll say about them niggas whatever I want to say. It's what he's thinking. I'm just telling you what he's thinking. But when we organize and vote, and when we organize, we can even keep the Democratic Party because they pull their tricks too. I'm here to tell you, they pull their tricks too. But the major one they just pulled was the presidential election. Now, these sophisticated white folks, I'm talking now, I have to talk about it because I talk about us too. In the Democratic Party, with all these millions of dollars and all these studies that they've done, spending all these millions of dollars on voting ways people vote and what margins they vote on and whatever. And out of all of that, they came up with Kamala Harris to run against Trump. That was a game, people. That was a game. Now, am I saying Kamala Harris wasn't qualified? We don't even have to get to that. She was a black woman running against a white man in America. We don't have to get to we don't even get to her qualifications. But those in the Democratic Party understood that. They knew that. Which means what? They wanted Trump to win. That's the bottom line. So they got a 200-year head start on us, but it's time for us to, it don't take us long. We're smart people. We're not dumb. We're not stupid. We've just been uninformed. Uninformed. But as we come to realize the strength that we have in Mississippi, as the saying goes, sweep around your own doorstep. When we realize the voting strength that we have in Mississippi, we won't have people like Tate Reeves making jokes about black folks and our representatives that represent us, represent the state. But right now they don't have that fear because they think that we too busy doing other things to realize how important it is for us to vote, how politics is local. It's good we go out and vote for the president. That's very good. But the people who run this state, the people who run this county, the people who run the town or the city that you live in, that's the most important vote. That's the most important. If we look at Jackson, for an example, how long we have been run by the Black community. And you would think things hadn't even changed for us to do better. People out there have been putting the right people in the right place. And that's just a simple fact. You look around you and say, look around us and see. The people we've been putting in office, they have a plan, all right, but the plan ain't for the city. It ain't for the citizens. The plan is to come up with some scheme to go into some kind of contract where they can make money. And them and their friends. And that's it. Unfortunately. That's it. But when we realize the voting strength that we have, 23 counties, that's majority Black. I mean, overwhelmingly. When you say 87.5%, Hinds County, 87%. How anybody gonna redraw a line there to make sure that all the positions are occupied by a white person? How they gonna do it? And when you got a good big chunk of the 82 counties that either majority Black or right at even, for them to draw a line, they have to draw a line so crooked and wobbly that you have to say, well, what is that? What's that squiggly thing you got over there? Trying to draw Black people out of the voting precinct and districts. They want us to remain asleep. Because programs like this one, and there are others, are here to help us understand this is a very pivotal time. Pivotal. We can't afford to put people in office just because they look like us, and we don't know what they've been about before they got there. We've suffered under that here in Jackson and Hinds County. We got a school district here in Jackson spending hundreds of millions of dollars in a C-rated school district and a overpaid superintendent and board over there. City of Jackson. We had clean drinking water in almost 30 years. And who's been in charge for almost 30 years? Our streets in horrible condition. See, when we do things like that, it encourages others to say, well, it don't make any difference. But it does. You can't give up. We can't give up. Our ancestors didn't give up. They didn't. There are a lot of people out there who think that our ancestors who are enslaved in this country never fought back. There are those out there who think that they just sit around and wait to see who won the Civil War, and that was it. That's information that they keep from our children in our schools, districts. So I'm just putting something on your mind. You know, like I say, this is a call-in show, 601-948-5950. 948-5950. 601. Go ahead, call you on there.
Judge,
How you doing there?
man, doing well. If you get it better, I'm gonna start trying to get it to joy. Judge, you hitting the nail on the head, Judge. You're exactly right. People need to listen to what you're saying because what you're saying is the truth, Judge. We are at least 40%, meaning black, colored, African American, whatever you wish to call us, Negroes, whatever. We are 40% of this state. That means we deserve at least one representation statewide in government. So that's what our focus needs to be. Yes, we need Congressman Thompson and some others, but we need at least one representative of the statewide for black people, colored people, brown people, whatever you want to call them. And Judge, another point that you made, and which is very important, is it's important that we get somebody that is not gonna be a Uncle Tom, a guy that's gonna do everything but what the black folks need is what we call it, Uncle Tom, which we have had, and we have in office, in government offices at this present time. A lot which you're saying is what you're speaking about. We'll have a lot of Uncle Tom in government offices.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, you
A
know,
lot of it.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
So what we need to do as a race of people is come together, work together, and work towards making sure come November 2027, we have at least one statewide black governmental official elected. And again, as I said earlier, you're right about the reign of terror that our governor has talked about. The man is just totally oblivious to the fact that he's the governor for all of us, supposed.
Exactly.
We're black.
Exactly.
And he's the governor for all of us. There are people that think that Ku Klux Klan and Grand Wizards is something to be, or Proud Boy is something to be. But I don't think so, Judge. And I know it's not just because their mind and their heart are not right. They're not right in their mindset and their heart, then that simply means they're not right. Well, so no, Judge, I don't agree with the governor, and I totally revoke his statement earlier last week when he was talking about a reign of terror.
What reign of terror?
There's no way you can say anyone that he was talking to all of us, not just to Congress.
Exactly. They see us all like that. I thank you, brother.
That's correct.
Let me get to some other call, man. But I appreciate you, brother Larry.
Thank you, Judge, to keep up the good work, man. You're doing a fine job, not a good job, but fine job.
Appreciate it. Thank you. You know, and that's exactly what I'm saying here is, you know, when we get the governor, what reign of terror has Benny Thompson wielded over Mississippi? Come on now. What reign of terror? And then you go to DC and make jokes about Jackson, which at the time, unfortunately, they were true. Because we had in that administration, I knew a lot of them over the years. I'm talking about personal friends, hung out together, did things, meeting, organized together. Got over there in City Hall and embarrassed everybody. Because all of them was greedy and poor when they got there. And their whole aim was, how can we get rich before we leave here? And that's it. That's what we got out of that. And they wasn't doing it different than the ones who preceded them. That's just the way it was. It started here, like I said, we got Siemens in here under Johnson. We didn't need no water meters. And then what did we get? Water meters that charging people thousands of dollars a month. Go ahead, Carla. You're on the air, caller.
There is no call in the queue.
I saw a name come up there. If I cut you off, you can try again. But we can't afford to put people in office whose agenda is self-serving. If they go in office, the office is supposed to be serving other people. They see it the other way around. We're here to be milked. And that's what has happened over the past 30 years. That's what had happened. Let's see if I can get you. I got two over there. All right. Which one I got? Okay.
Well, you got me.
Go ahead, Carl.
Thank you very much. Thanks for taking the call.
Yes,
I
sir.
rather get chance to call early, and this time I'm early. And I'm early because the topic in discussion is very, very much an urgent matter.
Yes.
They can redraw the congressional district line for the United States Congress, but they cannot draw a line to draw us out when it comes to the Senate race. And we have a candidate, Scott Cologne. He's a man for the hour, and he is concerned about not just black, not just white. He's concerned about all of us. And the person against whom he's running has stated, and Trump has stated too, that she is, in fact, a very loyal supporter of him and his policies. That can't stand. That can't stand. It has bothered me for the longest. When I came back to Mississippi, I came back and I had a chance to go to a football game. Mississippi State was playing Alabama. And I saw Collins and another brother on that line have a goal line stand against Bear Bryant, the last game they played there at the coach. And I could not believe when I looked around the stadium, I was way at the top. And I saw all these white hands applauding, clapping for these black athletes. Those same hands, like me, could pull off a lever to elect a black candidate. Why not?
Exactly.
Why not? Why not? And I hear people talking about whether or not there shouldn't be a boycott. You think come straight there should be a boycott. They have the power. They got it now. But once they leave college, they won't have the power. And 4 or 5 from each team probably they can even get to the pros. So what are they talking about? The learning opportunity to earn a living. They need to do something to make sure they earn a living in other areas other than just ball. And it's not about them. It wasn't about us. When I was 14 or 15 years old, 16, 18, 19, protesting about conditions then,
Right.
and make conditions better for we now. So they cannot be that selfish. They cannot be that narrow-minded. That's the thing, that what they do has got to be to benefit them and them alone. That won't work.
Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you, Carl.
2026, in the 2026, we got to get involved. We got to get one other thing in our close.
All right.
We got all these elected officials in Mississippi. How many times have they, as a group, spread out throughout the state of Mississippi to get people votes? How many times have they done that as a group? Anyway, thank you for accepting my call.
Appreciate your call, Brother Walt. Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
Have another one over there? Go ahead, caller, you're on there.
Jared, how you doing? Pastor Jackson.
Every time I hear you, brother, you know that man. Go ahead, man. A warrior. That's what I think when I hear your voice.
Thank you, Jared. Jared, let me say something to all of our voters. Today I was real hurt to hear Ronald Holland talk like he talked to people that he's worked for. You don't trust the folk. You don't do that, Donna. Now, Donna, let me tell you something, son. The people put you there.
And look like to me, you finna go home.
Mm.
Get your little stuff. Get whatever you got, get ready to go home. Because we ain't gonna put up with that. We're not gonna put up with it. And Mr. Barber, we got folks gonna run against you, ain't scared of you, and ain't gonna be cussing the folk. Like you said, Jerry, they don't never say when they go down there they can't do the job.
Right.
But he went down there cussing the folk. Yes, he did it.
Mm.
I'm looking at it. The world saw you running. We gave you a chance when you had that little problem.
Okay.
But no.
Well,
Brothers and sisters, you got to go vote like you done stole a mule out of the devil. If you don't go vote, they're going to mistreat you just like Amos and Andy show.
and he ain't lying. I appreciate your call, Reverend Jackson. Thank you, brother. Thank you, Reverend Jackson.
In fact, let me say this.
Yes, sir.
You know and I know. It ain't the Klan no more.
No.
Black folks.
No, come on with it. Come on with it. Thank you, Reverend. Yes, sir.
They don't talk about Jane Larry. Jane Larry got shot down in Orlando, Mississippi, for racing to vote.
Right. A march for freedom. He got shot in the back as they normally do.
Got shot in the back, and still got some shots in him.
Right.
God bless his soul. Black folks, you need to get up out and quit. Listen, you ain't done it with disgrace to your children. My grands and great grands ain't no way in the world. I'm going to vote if it ain't nothing but a dog catcher. And government, we listening.
Yes, sir.
You better not lay hands on Benny Thompson. We got something for you. We're gonna go to the poll and send you to the house.
Now that's well said, Reverend Jackson. That's well said, brother.
Nobody's scared no more.
There you go.
Over with. That Uncle Tom and Motown now, all that's over with. We sick and tired of being sick and tired. The name of the game now, we don't mind dying. Thank you, Jared.
Thank you, brother. Look, Reverend Jackson was one of those who stood with me and some of the others, and that was Chokwe, the father, who with members of, and I was so proud of us. I'm telling you, I was so proud of us that day that the citizens of Jackson, black and white, stood there right at the Capitol, at the Supreme Court building, and told the Klan members, you're not coming through Jackson, period. We tired of being afraid of you and letting our children think we are afraid of a white sheep. Now we've gotten more sophisticated like that. We need to understand the powers in the ballot. See, all of those, you know, like I say, at 40% of the population, we may not decide who the governor is, but we can decide who won't be the governor. That's for sure. That's for sure. And see, that's why I mentioned there are members of the white community that have a conscience, but they stood back at too many of them and let the situation be. When I went to those my generation, we walked to school, didn't even have school buses. Fall, winter, spring, you had to walk, period. While the other white schools had school buses. You got people with, even today, with that mentality, I'm talking about white folk, who really believe we don't deserve anything. We don't deserve what they have. We don't deserve good things like they got. It's time out for that. It's time out for that. This is why I say we have a school district with less than 17,000 students in it, and we got 38,000 children in this city. because we allow them to tell us who should be running our business. Whereas in any business, do they reward a person for mediocre work? Where? A C-rated school district, and we're giving this man who's making $230,000 a year a $50,000 raise. Why do they do that out there in the world? See, we need to be knowing where this $434 million really going. That's what we need to know. And we need to put our people in these offices downtown that really understand why we put them down there. And we need to vote in a manner such that no statewide elected official would have the nerve to make a joke about us at 40% of the population. But Sidney Hyde-Smith, she would go to a lynching. If somebody that she trusted told her there was going to be one, she would go. Would she go to any memorial or say out loud that she would go to any type of memorial or event that was commemorating, that was allowing and promoting the Holocaust? Would she do that? Hell no, she know better. She know better. The best she can do, I didn't mean to know. What? See, when we show people, yeah, we ain't got to march, we ain't got to sit in, we're going to register and we're going to vote. Let's put your name, caller.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Doing well, sir. Got a question that has been posed to me by several residents, and I personally took one of my neighbors down to the Jackson Medical Mall to see if they can get some type of relief with their water bill. And the young lady there is so rude and obnoxious from Jackson Water. And I've heard this across the board from several people. She is rude, rude, rude. So who do we go to complain?
Okay, what ward are you in, ma'am?
They live in Ward 7.
Ward 7? Okay, that would be...
Oh, wait, no, that'd be Ward 4. I'm sorry, Ward 4, down on Cooper Road.
Cooper
I think
Road.
that's Ward 4, okay? It splits down through there. It's either 4 or 6.
Okay, I think
Ward
Hartley is in
6
4.
splits.
I think Vernon Hartley is in 4, but this is...
No, that's Brian Gazelle. Let me see. Brian Gazelle is 4, and LaShia Brown Thomas is 6.
Well, see, I don't think you're going to get much response from Griselle. That's just my own personal feeling. But he is the council person there. And as I've been saying, too many of the council members have been sitting there doing nothing. And he was one of the ones that voted for everything that Anti Lumumba wanted, including give all this money away to other entities. But that would be your first stop. And that the way the system works, and we really don't get attuned to how the system works. But that's why we have 7 wards. If you're having problems in your ward, particularly a municipal problem like your water bill or anything like that, your council person is supposed to be the correct person that you go to.
With that, and I'll make sure that other people know, because it's all over. This is a citywide problem that I've been hearing from several people in different wards, that the person Jackson Water has to just plumb through.
Well, you
Talk to you any kind of way. I hadn't had to deal with her personally because I wouldn't have to call you. I know how to deal with it, but I tried to.
we don't want you. We don't want you to have to get. We don't want you to have to get into that. We don't want you to have to get into that. That's why your council person is there. I feel you on what you're saying now, but we don't want you to have to get into that. I appreciate your call, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you for calling.
I hope so.
There is no call in the queue.
Let's
Thank
try
you.
this one. I cut the other call off. Please call back, caller. I didn't mean to do that. Okay, caller, you're on there.
Well, Judge, I definitely agree with the lady that just now. Yeah, I agree with the woman. Yeah, for $29,000 like, which is joke. That building been closed there in 2017, and I had a fire down there. So after the fire department comes, they cut it off. But anyway, long story short, you have to tell me I was going to pay $29,000. I told them to do the devil a lie. But anyway, long story short, Judge, somebody got to do something because you got people like that.
Right.
It's outrageous. They get down there. I wish I could say what I want on the radio, but
What you're doing right now, brother, you saying what's on a lot of people's heart. They're suffering just like you. I appreciate you putting it out there.
Well, the thing about it, Judge, I mean, I don't have a problem. I'm not going to pay it point blank. I'm not going to pay it, and then they're not going to put a lien on me. I mean, I'll get every lawyer include you. They go down and we'll fight, and I won't do it, and then they will pay for it.
Absolutely.
But anyway, Judge, it's just a life one. I've been listening to you talk here. I hadn't been with you yet a couple of weeks. I had a few things going on. But you're right. You're putting people in office, and my personal opinion is they're not educated enough to handle this stuff because there's no way in hell if I was a city councilman or whatever, sitting behind Smith or the governor of Reed, they would say things like that. It'd be the big administrator that Kennesaw can't do this all by itself.
Right.
You gotta have the others who sit there and keep their mouths closed like a bunch of little puppets and stealing money.
Right.
And you know I'm not right.
You telling the truth?
Stealing money.
You telling the truth?
Yeah, that's all they do is sit around and find a way to steal and take them up and sit around there trying to do, kind of do what's right, but they're not going to do that. But anyway, Judge, I was just calling, just speaking to you, but that lady, she's definitely telling the truth. But it's this black lady down there. She's some mess with herself. And I wish I could, let me get off the phone, Judge. We'll talk to you later. Have a good one.
All right, I appreciate hearing your voice again.
Yeah.
Go ahead, caller, you're on there.
Hello, Judge. How you doing?
Good to hear you. How you doing?
I'm doing okay. I just want to let you know I'm still listening. I may not call in every week, but I'm listening.
Well, that makes me feel good, sister. Thank you so much for your encouragement.
Mm-hmm. And you right about Grizel. I'm still waiting on a call. That's been 2 years ago to call back about stuff going on in that ward.
Okay.
And he absolutely, he just voted down whatever was on that table. He just voted yes for without even looking at it or trying to decide if it's going to be best for his constituents in his ward.
Absolutely. I know for a fact all Antar had to do was tell him what he wanted, and he was going to vote for it. And he would try to, because I saw him do it personally, tried to get Angelique Lee to go along with it. I saw him do it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. So, but you keep on spreading the word and letting us know exactly what's going on in the community, because you are making a difference. So it's going to take a collective, a lot of us to come together and to try to change this system. But it's so many of them Negroes doing wrong down there and all over.
Mm-hmm.
So it gets tiresome sometimes, but you keep on telling us and letting us know. All right, have a good night.
You too. Thank you so much for calling, sister. Go ahead, caller, you on there.
How are you today, Judge?
I'm good. I think I cut you off last time. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm good.
Okay, go ahead, brother.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
I used to work for the legislature several years back. What's the deal on the airport? The contract, the length of the contract, the terms, and the amount that the city of Jackson is receiving?
I had Peter Taylorson in here, who was the city, I think, executive officer or something of that nature. And I had Vernon Hartley and Ashby Foote. And they all, and I'm still in a quandary about it as the rest of us, man. The only thing I understand is that we're supposed to benefit some way or another by leasing this property out to you know, but they guaranteed us, now this is their words, that none of the property was relinquished. They didn't sell any and they haven't given any up. So I guess we'll just have to see what happens, you know. It should, yes, sir. Yes, sir. They should. Matter of fact, the minutes of the council is public record.
Okay, secondarily, on the water. So we're trying, now we don't have any information on the lease of the airport. And now they're trying to establish this board for the water.
Yeah.
And my understanding is that they can't establish anything unless we sign a lease agreement.
Well, that's the way it's supposed to be. And see, now, again, when we understand that those 7 people and the 8th one being the mayor, if they would really stand up for us, a lot of this wouldn't go down. But too often, as you know, we hear about things after everything is done. And then as you're doing right now, you say, well, okay, well, how can we find out what they did? As opposed to them really standing before us in community meetings and whatever, and helping us understand what is they're trying to do so that we could have our input. Most of the time, things go down and we don't have a bit of input in.
So my deal is this: if we've got a lease on the airport and the city is in need of money, and we have nobody who is really taking ownership of and stewardship of what we're supposed to get, who's supposed to do that? Should that be who should be doing the stewardship?
It should be the city of Jackson. Now, the city of Jackson owns the property that the airport is on. And all the property, I think it's about 6,000 acres or so around the airport. So it's the city of Jackson that has to come up with ideas how to make that property productive for us. And for up to this point, they haven't done anything, and now they're saying they're going to give it over to Rankin County or Pearl or Flowood so they can develop. And we're supposed to gather the rent from it somehow or another.
So what you're saying to me is we've got an opportunity to make money off of it, but we're talking about giving it away?
Well, leasing it away, that would be the word, leasing it away. That would be the word.
And secondarily, have you heard about this deal with Prado and this island guy, this attorney in the island?
No, I hadn't heard.
Well, there's something going on with the Prado situation and the data center they're trying to bring here.
Okay, I heard a little bit about something about a data center.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to try to have them on the show because I did hear something about that. And if it's going to affect Jackson, I want us to know about it.
Well, you better go because they're talking about putting a data center here. And actually what they've already done to a certain degree is taken Northeast Jackson and made it a city of their own.
Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right. I got another call. You hitting everything on the head, though. I appreciate it, brother. Go ahead, caller. You on there?
Yes, sir. How are you this evening, sir? Listen, you know, I'm the older guy than most of our people who call this show, but the European or the so-called white community tricked us, you know. If somebody's good, doing something good for us, they're going to take it for them. Of course, black guy be glad they're going to white folks because they're doing something good. And then we are so mixed up. We hate one another, you know, and we don't teach our children what we're supposed to teach them. It's sad, sir. I don't know. It's so much to say, so I don't know where to start.
Well, I'll agree with you. I definitely agree with you on we don't teach our children what they ought to know. I hope, and we control the school district, but they don't teach them their history or nothing. I guarantee you that. I agree with you.
Yes, and if you get somebody doing a good job in the school system, then the white folks are some better, they'll leave.
Right, and you can.
I'm doing so-called, it was degradation, not integration, it was degradation. But they cleared out the best teachers out the schools and put them in the white schools, the best students out the schools. In other words, if you take all the best students out of the schools, then the other dudes can't learn from one another. So it's a problem, and I don't know if it will ever be unless this world.
I'm gonna have to go to another call, but I'm gonna say this. Thank you, brother. Thank you. But I'm gonna say this. When it comes to our school district, at one time the state was talking about taking over our school. School then was supposed to be a D rated. It's a C rated now. I believe that the state realized they could get more money out of our school by doing like they did back in the plantation days. Instead of putting a white overseer over the slave, they put a black one over. And what we got over to they're hoping that we won't pay as much attention when we got black folks over there supposedly running this C-rated school with $434 million and a superintendent making $300,000 for a C-rated school so that they can siphon the money out. You go out there and look at Jackson Academy and Jackson Prep and all those other private schools. Where do you think they're getting that money to look better than the public school? And our school looking the way they're doing, and they're closing school. And we got the lowest paid teachers in the state. They hoping that because we see some black faces over there, we won't pay attention to where the money is going. Now, I'll put that out there too. Go ahead, Carly, on there. Yes, sir.
Something I wanted to mention. When you were talking about, you had a lot of topics tonight that I could comment on, but on the water situation, the people need to exactly what you said. Continue to contact their person over their ward, their councilwoman or councilman. And then, of course, also the mayor of the city of Jackson, which happens to be John Horn.
Mm-hmm.
That's who they really need to be talking to. That's who they really need to be contacting, going down there and talking to him, not on the telephone, but going down there and talking to him, because it is a major catastrophe, Judge, when it comes to water issues in Jackson. This city is still in a state of emergency, as well as it should be, and it's still under receivership. So that simply means it's still under emergency. So it is an emergency, as well as there's nothing, when I say nothing, Judge, there's nothing being done through the city, for the city, or by the city, for the people of the city. Nothing is being done. But Judge, on a lighter note, I wanted to comment on a statement that was made there. Well, there is just about as many people that you can look at and know that they're not true. Judge, coming this Wednesday, you were talking about the fair in their decision. Coming this Wednesday, there's a decision that's going to be made and released on the judge for the judgment on the case with Supervisor Arden in this election fraud case.
I'm getting down to the end of my show, Larry. I can't take up the rest of my show with that, brother.
Yes, sir, but we're gonna say that and say this, and that's it. We hoping that it turns out in his favor, but that is another case that's gonna be landmarked down in history.
Okay, I hope it comes out. All right, I hope it comes out positive. But the thing that we are focusing on now, people, is we got to show the world that we are responsible minded. We're not so self-centered that it's all about how I'm going to get ahead. And unfortunately, we've been putting people in office with that mentality. But for us as a body of people, the way you show your citizenship and your responsibility is by voting. That's how you show your citizenship and your responsibility. If you run around in any city, town, county, and you're not voting, you're not exercising your full rights as a citizen. You know, when we get ready to vote for president, people get all up and, but for whatever Trump is, he's not making the decisions about our everyday tax money here in Mississippi or in Jackson or in Hines. Be brief, caller, you're on there.
Yes, sir. What did he just say about voting?
I said, if you do not vote, you're not exercising your full potential as all your rights as a citizen.
Okay, well, I just want to say two things. You know, the other week I tried to talk to you about that. I guess you didn't understand what I was saying, and you kind of got mad at me.
Okay.
But I want to say today, you know, today and yesterday, they had 17-year-olds and 18-year-olds to vote. I mean, to graduate from Jackson Public Schools.
Uh-huh.
So I was wondering why a person like you, Ali Shamsuddin, is not down there with a booth at the Coliseum registering those 17-year-olds and 18-year-olds that coming out their stage to vote. Why aren't you down there, sir?
Okay, you asked that question, you want to answer.
Yes, sir. Well, I want you to go down there.
Wait, hold it. You asked the question, you want to answer. Do you want to answer? Or you
I want you to welcome the vote next year. Set up a booth and give them rep.
Okay, well, I have done that. I have done that. Have you? When? Is anybody down the Coliseum now?
No, that's right now, sir. You're right. So next year.
And the reason I got mad at you, Colin, is because I'm not here to argue with anybody. I'm a working man. I'm an attorney all day long. I was up in the Delta dealing with my client up there in the Delta. I am a working attorney. Now, I registered more people to vote, I imagine, than you ever seen. And that's why I'm on the show. That's why I'm here, to encourage people to register to vote. So people like yourself who are doing nothing but call in and start an argument, and you can use that energy that you're using against me to go and register people to vote. You know, I don't, you know, that's what I tell people all the time. This is not a show where we argue. This is not a gossip show. If you can't appreciate the fact that I'm trying to encourage people to vote as if that's nothing, then you're not hearing me correctly. So the fact of the matter is, you know, we're going to keep doing this. We're going to keep doing this. We're going to keep bringing the information. We're going to keep bringing the facts. And we want people to understand that your right as a citizen is to register and vote. That is a responsibility, actually, of a citizen. A person is not supposed to just live in a town or a city or whatever and reap the benefits of whatever benefits that municipality or town is offering and not participating in who actually keep the town or the city or the county or the state running. We have a responsibility for that. That's not to put anybody down. I'm saying what we have is a given right. It's not a privilege. It's a right. As a citizen, it's a right that we as African Americans have been denied for so long. So yes, I'm going to continue. We need to register. We need to vote. We need to put some fear in these people who think they can get up in front of us and demean us as a people while they're spending our money. So that's what voting is about. And I continue to say, when it comes to these statewide elections, even now today, we can determine a lot of times who go in those offices, but I guarantee you, we can determine who won't go. And I bet you when as they realize that the Tate Reeves of this state will get a different attitude. So we're down to the end of our program. I appreciate the calls that we got tonight. I always appreciate the calls. You can call whether you agree with me or not. People want to hear what you got to say. That's what it's about. That's what we're about. So we intend to be here next week, 7 o'clock. I'm Ali Shamsuddin, and this is Standing for the People.
Hello, Tony.
How you doing?
Hello.